Well, boys and girls, when you dance with the devil, you're bound to get burned. And after Square Enix, the maker of Final Fantasy games and so many other wonderful franchises that we've beloved over the years, has decided to team up with Black Girl Gamers and none other than the infamous Sweet Baby Inc. Well, it did not turn out very well for them whatsoever. A lot of their games got blasted for identity politics, and a lot of the reviews were absolutely abysmal. And now that we've had their current, most recent earnings report, they have lost hundreds of millions of dollars, boys and girls. A lot of their games that thought were going to be top winners out there have absolutely fallen flat and is a disastrous dumpster fire. And it's just another prime example of why when you decide to mess with these kind of groups, these kind of cults out there that have this kind of ideology, all they are is death and destruction for your company, because it is nothing more than a death cult. And that's exactly what we're seeing right here, ladies and gentlemen, because as you can see from the headline from our dear sweet friends over at thatparkplace.com, former Sweet Baby Inc. client Square Enix takes a $350 million hit in value as stock plummets. Boys and girls, $350 million gone. All because you decided to team up with the likes of Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girl Gamers, who are nothing but identity politics driven nonsense corrupting forces that will destroy your games, all based on some kind of ridiculous idea that identity politics will bring in more people and somehow not completely and totally tick off your current fan base. Well, guess what, Square Enix? You have learned your lesson, and we are going to document that as disastrous dumpster fires, shame you, and remind you of the punishment you have gotten for the mistakes you have made. And that's exactly what we're going to do right here, boys and girls. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below letting know what you think about this. Is this Square Enix getting the just desserts it deserves because of the kind of things that happened with Final Fantasy and every other game they've touched? Or do you think they will actually learn a lesson from this and go forward and make really good games? And this might be the best thing that has ever happened to the company, to have to take it this hard to learn this lesson. Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. So from our dear sweet M. Montero over at thatparkplace.com. And as a friendly editor's note, this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. Thanks, Montero, for covering all the legal bases. Square Enix shareholders received a rude awakening Monday as the video game company behind Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, yes, you know, that Disney team up, boys and girls. Boy, I wonder how they got involved with Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girl Gamers. Saw a 10-point dip in the Japanese market. This equates to a market capitalization loss that measures in the hundreds of millions. The drop came in the wake of Square Enix's financial report that actually offered some good news to investors. The company saw $136 million in profits over a 6-month period ending in September of 2024. This represents a year-on-year increase of 22%. Didn't Square Enix have to lay off a bunch of people to get to that profits? I can't really remember at this point. However, several worrisome figures seemingly caused some unease for the stock to still take a hefty hit. Despite the increase over the 6-month period, operating profits have been on a heavy decline throughout 2024. Most notably, Square Enix found itself 27% down in Q3 of 2024. I mean, literally over a quarter of a loss. That is not good. Premium game sales are also down this year, which could have pushed investors to sell. Premium games. I wonder which one of those they've released this year that came in under expectations. We'll get to those in just a second. Square started November with a valuation of $4.68 billion. The number was based on the company's outstanding shares and the Square Enix stock price. However, it has since lost up to $350 million in value. That is a hit. That hurts no matter how much your company is valued at. That is a whole nother video game and years of development in a $350 million loss. Boy, I wonder why they're cutting back on the amount of games they're producing right now. Because obviously they knew about these numbers long before they had to divulge it to their investors, right? That's how this works. Square Enix was a notable client of King Belair's Sweet Baby Inc., the narrative design company contracts with gaming studios to consult on story elements, often injecting DEI into the narrative. The company appeared prominently on SBI's website, though recently Square Enix vanished from that list entirely. Yes, boys and girls, they figured out the old adage, go woke, go broke, is absolutely true, and they decided to listen to all of the idiot cultists over there at Sweet Baby Inc. It caused damage and backlash among their fan base and ended up destroying their sales numbers. Wow, it's almost like we've all seen this happening for years at this point. Maybe Square Enix is finally going to learn its lesson, because all of us would love a really high quality, good Final Fantasy game again, with Tifa's proportions back in all of their proper places, ladies and gentlemen. While there's no definitive list of Sweet Baby Inc.'s influence on Square, many point to censorship actions taken by the company in recent years, like restricting the size of Tifa's chest in Final Fantasy as proof of the narrative's firm's involvement. Sweet Baby Inc. wasn't the only narrative design firm Square worked with. It also contracted Black Girl Gamers to work on noted flop Forspoken. Oh yes, that was the other one that we've been doing videos on lately. Forspoken, where they took that absolutely stunning and gorgeous voice actress and just uglified her into oblivion in that game. I mean, it was just an absolute insult to God's beautiful genius and creativity to take that gorgeous woman and just uglified the living Hades out of her in that game. But hey, of course, that's what they want to do. The devil can't actually harm God directly, so he harms his children. And yeah, I don't care what you think, taking something as gorgeous as that woman is and uglifying their game is destroying God's beauty, whether you believe in him or not. Yeah. Square Enix representative director Yosuke Matsuda even admitted that sales of Forspoken were weak back in February of 2023. Yeah, that game bombed. Cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. Reviews of Forspoken were released on January 24th, 2023 and have been challenging. However, the game also received positive feedback on its action features, including its parkour and combat abilities. So it has yielded results that will lead to an improvement in our development capabilities in other games in the future. So we released a really crappy game that for the most part nobody really liked, so we've learned some lessons and we're gonna be able to take those lessons and go forward, even though we've already lost you hundreds of millions of dollars. Our bad, we're gonna try to do better next time. That said, its sales have been lackluster. And while the performance of the new titles with February and March releases dates will be the ultimate determinant, we see considerable downside risk of our fiscal earnings. Well, boy, didn't that come true. Now, didn't it? Teaming up with Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girl Gamers really worked out well for you. It's kind of like we said in the beginning, when you dance with the devil, you're bound to get burned. And Square Enix has gotten burned bad. It seems as though Square Enix has learned the old adage, go woke, go broke, the hard way. It saw a 70% decrease in profits following its work with Sweet Baby Inc. 70%! A 70% in profits by working with Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girls Gamers. Boys and girls, that's why all of this diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense has all been lies from the beginning. They told you it's always the devil's old ridiculous promises. I'll give you fame, I'll give you fortune, I'll give you everything as long as you go my direction. Sweet Baby Inc. sold the exact same kind of lies. It's almost like there's nothing new under the sun, boys and girls. They sold everybody the exact same lies. This diversity, this inclusion, it'll bring in so many more people. You won't offend people. You won't offend all these crazy psychopathic women out there who object to the fact that Tifa's chest is a little bit bigger than it, or a little bigger than it was. You know, we want to make it smaller. They don't object to that. They're going to make all of these, you're going to make all these woke feminists out there happy and they'll come and play your game. The woke feminists never played the video games to begin with. And now Square Enix is finding out that when you cater to a small, vocal, angry, and mentally disturbed portion of the culture, you end up falling flat. Because those freaks with all of those ideas out there are a small portion of the population for a reason. Because the majority of us don't believe in them and we think they're crazy. That's why you fell flat. And now you've learned your lesson. Soon after, Square announced plans to enhance productivity and shift its focus from quantity to quality, citing a commitment to creating unforgettable experiences. Oh, you mean going back to actually making good video games and not concentrating on identity politics? Wow, what a strange concept. I know. So it goes on with more stuff, more Final Fantasy releases. The Final Fantasy games both underperformed, and HD game segment, Final Fantasy, both the both 16 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but both profits unfortunately did not meet our expectations, which means the game flopped. I'm sure a lot of the backlash over Tifa probably had a major effect on that, because we are at a point now, boys and girls, that the mainstream culture out there, that the average individual, some would even say the common nerd out there, smells everything that they are cooking out there. They literally know, everybody knows, as soon as we get a hint of this, as soon as we get a whiff of this, you are automatically going to turn off a massive portion of the population, a massive portion of the actual consumer base, the customer, just by giving a single whiff of this kind of stuff out there. And we have seen this happen time and time again. We have it from one of Sweet Baby Inc.'s former employees themselves on his own stream, saying that he can't get work anymore because the game companies automatically ask him, are we going to get backlash if we hire you? They know these people are poison and have devastated and destroyed their companies. And now we have the exact financial numbers to show how much of a huge and drastic loss it was. $350 million wiped out, every single one of your games, either completely and totally flopping or failing to meet expectations, which means it lost you money. That is what happens. This is what you do when you go down this path. So I really do, as a guy who loved a lot of the Final Fantasy games, and I've had a lot of friends that just absolutely are freaks over the Kingdom Hearts and are like hardcore Final Fantasy friends out there, I get it. I want these games to be good again. I want to get excited about the next Final Fantasy game. I want them to make that game look so good that I will actually go out there and buy a PlayStation just for it, because I have done that in the past. The only reason I ever bought an Xbox was because of Halo and Fable, because I loved Halo and I was so excited about Fable. Final Fantasy can do that again as well. You just need to concentrate on making a good quality gameplay with beautiful and engaging characters that everybody has known and loved for ages. You have done it in the past. I just don't know if, much like what Disney and a lot of these other major corporations have done, is if you have ran off the only creative talent you actually had left in that company, and if you'll ever be able to recover with this. I don't know if that's the case. How badly has the woke cult infection, this poison, this cancer, gotten through the entire body of Square Enix? Well, for one, we know they've suffered a financial loss. The real question is, can they recover from this and change the direction of their future? I hope so, because all of us, at the end of the day, just want good quality video games without a bunch of BS and controversy. Make escapism great again.